guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I usually do a lot of like makeup videos. I did a vlog video. I used to have poetry videos. But for this this video I'm going to do a first trimester recap, I guess. I don't know, I see a lot of these and I'm just like, it's pretty cool, and I guess it's a good way to remember what happened, I guess. So yeah, if you wanna keep watching, keep watching. So, I found out that I was pregnant with one of these little Walmart tests. And it was $1, so I was like, don't know if this is valid. But I found out on 8/17/19, so about like a month ago. I want to say a month ago. But they're two very clear blue lines. So, and I was kind of skeptical. So I think I only have 2 of them in here, but oh no, there's the other one. But I took another one of them. I took 2. And then, I swear, there's a 3rd one. And then, just to be safe, I took a 3rd. And they all have very clear lines. Also, my nails are not dirty. That's hair dye. I'm a cosmetologist student. So, just to clarify that. Yeah. So, after I found that out, I kind of didn't tell anyone for a couple days. So I was very much like, oh my god, like what do I do? Like I was freaking out. And I called my sister, and I have hair in my mouth. And I called my sister, and on, where's the day? Okay, I found it. And 4 days later, on the 21st, I went and I got a pregnancy test done at Mid-City's Pregnancy Center, which I will have like a little story of after I tell you this because it was horrific. But basically, I'm gonna fold it, but see, they gave me positive, and I signed it saying that I like read it and everything, and then at that point I was just like this is a thing. And so that night, or not that night, the next night when I got home, so 5 days after I found out, I went and I told my dad. And I was really scared, and I was like, oh my god, like he's gonna freak out, like it's gonna be awful. But it really wasn't. Like he was pretty chill. I feel like you can see the glare of my laptop. He was pretty chill, but it was still like, you know, like I'm telling my dad that I'm pregnant and I'm 18. So, and then it was just late. I was tired, so I just didn't want to like talk to anybody else. It was an emotional day. So, the next day I called my mother, and same thing, I was terrified. I called her and she was like, I already knew. And my dad basically said the same thing, that he already knew. And I was like, dang, like I just found out, like how do you know? I didn't know, what? And so that happened. Oh, that's tangy. So basically everybody in my family knew before me. So that was kind of sucky, because I didn't get to tell anybody, like they all knew. Even when I was in the room with my dad, my nephews were in the living room, and I came out and I was like, I'm pregnant, and they were like, yeah, we knew. And I was like, thanks, like a 13-year-old knew before me. Cool. But yeah, so that went well. And then the same day as I got the pregnancy done at Mid-City's Pregnancy Center, I went and I visited a midwife. I don't know what is in this. I visited a midwife, because I was very much like, ooh, I was very much, always have been, like, I don't want to do a doctor, I want to do a midwife, or home birth, or a birthing center birth, or like something along those lines. It's a lot of breath. So I visited her, and I'm going to cover up her info. But I visited her, and this is just a little packet that they gave me, kind of explaining like who she is, what she does, what she offers, cost, which I feel like is something not a lot of people talk about, but getting a midwife is expensive. Like, it's not an easy buck. So that kind of scared me a little bit at first. But her name is Cheryl. She's absolutely amazing. And later on that day, I actually got to meet the woman who was my mom's midwife during my birth, who delivered me. It ended up where she wasn't the right fit for me as my midwife, which would have been really cool. Like, she delivered me, she can deliver my kid, like, whoa. But Cheryl ended up being a better fit than Donna, who was my mother's midwife. But everyone at the birthing center was just, or at the midwife center, which is also like becoming a birthing center now, was so nice, like so nice. And then after that, we went to what's it called, Mincy's Pregnancy Center, which is where I got the official test. So I went to the midwife, and then to get lunch, and then back to the midwife to meet my mom's midwife, and then I went to the Mid-City Pregnancy Center. And I went there, and it was horrendous. Like, it was awful. It was the worst experience. Like, you see in movies, and they're like, you see these like agencies, and they're like, abortion is a sin, and like, you're going to hell, and like, if you have premarital sex, you're a sinner, and like, all of these things. And like, I was always like, oh, well, they won't do that in real life, but they do. It's not fun. It's annoying. But I went in, and we waited for about, I want to say 15 to 20 minutes before they actually called me back. And when they called me back, she was super nice. And she was like, hi, like, this is my name. I'm going to go ahead and give you this cup, and you're going to go in the bathroom. You're going to, like, pee in it, essentially. And then put it in here, and, like, we'll test it. And I was expecting, like, okay, they're going to test it. They're going to bring me our results. We'll be out of here. No. And when I peed in it, I put it in the little cubby thingy in the wall, and then I came back, and I went to, like, this little room so she could, like, ask me questions and stuff, which I didn't think was, like, a thing. But she essentially was like, what do you want to do with the baby? And I was like, I want to keep it. Yeah. And she was like, well, you know, you have two other options, which are abortion and adoption. And I was like, okay, well, don't want to do either of those. So, keeping it. And she proceeded to ask me a bunch of questions, like, am I married? Who's the father? Do I know the father? Stuff like that, which I guess is kind of, like, pretty normal, like, not like the marriage question necessarily, but, like, do I know the father and stuff like that. So I guess that was pretty normal. But then she went into, like, are you depressed? Do you have any history of, like, suicidal tendencies or of self-harming behavior and, like, stuff like that. And then she was, like, talking about, like, childhood molestation and stuff like that, which was, like, I don't know, I felt like it had nothing to do with me just needing a pregnancy test. Like, I came in here for you to test my pee, that's it. Like, let me out. And then she made me fill out this, like, flyer thing, and it said adoption, abortion, and keeping it, or adoption, abortion, and parenting, and it was, like, the pros and cons of each, and, like, how it would affect my life. I was very sarcastic on the form, because I was like, this is so stupid, like, I know what I'm doing, I've told you what I'm doing, why are you making me do this? And so it was really annoying. And then after that, my sister got to come back in, because I wouldn't let my sister back there. My sister got to come back in, and they basically made us watch this video, and it was pretty anti-abortion. Like, everyone who had abortions were like, oh, this was the worst decision of my life. Like, my life is over, and I hate myself. When, like, they didn't, which I mean, like, is completely bad. Like, some women do have abortions and do regret it later, but they didn't have anything positive on abortion. They didn't have anyone that said, like, you know, I had an abortion, it was the right choice for me. Which I'm super pro-abortion. Like, I'm pro-choice 100%. So that kind of was frustrating. And so, but I was just kind of frustrated because, like, I went in there, I told you the choice that I had already made, like, I'm keeping it. Why are you making me watch this stuff? So it's kind of frustrating. But yeah. And then after that, so we had been there we got in there about 12. We didn't leave until, like, probably 3. Because that entire process to get a pregnancy test took that long. And we went to the office, and I was like, yo, I'm not having a sonogram here, like, bye, like, I'm done. And so we left, and my sister dropped me off at my house, and then I ate, went to bed, and the next day I told my parents. Anyway, so we're done with that. So after everyone knows, and like my family knows and everything, I basically just kind of like start getting my stuff together. So I'm a full-time student. I go to a cosmetology school. Like, I don't have a job. Like, I am a full-time student. I live with my dad and everything. And so I'm here like, how am I supposed to pay for absolutely anything? Which I think is something not a lot of people think about. Like, pregnancy is expensive. Having a baby is expensive. Not even, like, after the baby's born, like, diapers and, like, stuff like that for the rest of its life. Like, pregnancy is expensive. And so, my table is wobbly. I'm so sorry. But, so I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing. And thankfully I had a lot of family that was, like, really supportive and, like, helped me out and stuff. So that was really good. But for, like, 2 weeks before I found out, I had been so sick. Like, 2 weeks before, I left for 2 days of school. Like, I would go and I would just get so sick and I would leave. And the second week, the week after that, I went to visit my boyfriend for the weekend because he lives an hour away. And I was just, like, not feeling it. Like, I felt sick. I didn't want to drive home. And he was like, well, you can stay for the week. And I was like, okay. So I stayed with him for a week. And then after that, like, I was texting my friends that go to my school. And I was like, I'm so sick. Like, I'm crazy ill. And they were like, I think you're pregnant. It's like, I'm not pregnant. I'm like, no, I'm not. That's no way. But I was like, okay, like, whatever, sure, skeptical, but I'll go take a test. And I took 3 tests. And yeah, this is really not in chronological order. Like, oops. But yeah, so I did that. And then it came in positive. I did all this stuff, talked to my parents, got another one. And so then I would just kept going to school because, like, I had to. And I got so sick. Like, every day I was throwing up. And every day I was just nauseous from the time that I woke up in the morning to the time that I went to bed. And they have a lot of, like, remedies, like saltines and ginger ale, and I had those, and it didn't work. And I took, I don't know what it's called, but it's like I think it's Nox nausea. I took it, and I put it on my tongue, and they'd be like, oh, that's gonna work, and it didn't work. So I was just like, great, like, this is just how it's gonna be. So I would just throw up every day, the whole time I was in school. And there were days where I just couldn't do it. Like, I had to go home, and it was just bad. Like, it was bad. But I survived, obviously, after a couple mental breakdowns, because I'm very much like, I want to be at school, I want to be working, I want to do what I need to do, I want to graduate. And before I started getting sick and everything, before I found out, I was 37 hours over where I needed to be, like, in school. So but with all the days that I had to miss, I'm now 15 hours behind. So I'm, like, working every day to make those hours up. Sorry, something came up with my laptop. To make those hours up. And so I get there at least 30 minutes early every day. Yesterday I stayed after for like 30 minutes to an hour. Like, I'm working really hard to get my time back. But it's just been really hard. And thankfully, this week, the past 2 days, I haven't thrown up at all. So I was just so happy, like so happy. And today it's 11:16 a.m. and I haven't thrown up yet. I'm not super nauseous. Like, I have a little bit of nausea, but I'm not, like, nauseous. I'm mostly just dizzy. But that's fine, because I'm sitting on my bed. I got a new bed. So that's cool. But yeah. So that's kind of everything that happened in my first trimester. Within my first trimester, I moved from the first phase of my school to the second phase of my school to the second part of the second phase of my school. So I started my first trimester in phase 1, and I'm now in phase 2B, with 4 more weeks of 2B before I go to 3A, which is very exciting. I'm very excited. But yeah, so I think that's really it. But yeah, so that's the first trimester update. Yeah. I don't know. I'll see you later. So as I was making the thumbnail, I realized that I didn't talk about a lot of things. So, pain. My stomach hurt a lot. Like, because obviously, like, your stomach is changing, like, it's expanding, it's stretching, and that's not comfortable. It feels a lot like cramps, like almost like period cramps. Sometimes worse, sometimes not as bad. But it's like right here where it hurts, and like sometimes up here. And like I don't know if anybody else had this, but like I had like cramping right here, and it was like needle stabs, so it was not pleasant. And then as far as cravings go, I feel like I craved a lot of things. This week I've been craving just salsa. Like, from this one specific restaurant, Paludo's, which is like a couple minutes from my house. But I've been craving that like crazy. I ate a pint of it, in like a day. So, I ate that. I've been craving a lot of like fresh fruits and veggies. Like, I had a grapefruit this morning and it was so good. I was craving meat like crazy. I've been a vegetarian for 5 years. I was craving it so bad that it was like almost making me sick. So I was like, I'm not gonna add more sickness on top of my nausea and my morning sickness. And so I just gave in and I just ate it. And I was like, you know, if it's good for the baby, I don't care. Like, I will go back to being vegetarian the minute the baby is out. But I don't know. So I did that. I've been craving that. I'm craving it a lot less now, so I don't eat it, like, barely at all. But yeah, just craving that. Right now, I'm really craving cauliflower, and after I'm, like, done editing this video and everything, I'm gonna go make some mashed cauliflower with some, like, cheese in it. So I have that. But aside from that, I don't think I've been craving, like, a lot. Definitely not very many sweets. I'll see stuff and I'll be like, oh, that looks really good right now. But I don't know if it's, like, craving aside from, like, salsa or meat. So, So yeah, but I'm sure that as the second trimester hits, I'll really start craving it, or craving things a lot more, so. But yeah, I just wanted to insert that and say that, so yeah, bye. So I forgot to do a bump date, so here you go. I did forget to mention this, but I did get sonograms, and I got to hear his little heartbeat, and he's just so cute. It's him right here, he's inside of he's so cute. But yeah, so I'm very excited, very nervous, but I have a lot of support, so we got this. If you want to follow my journey through this pregnancy, you can go ahead and subscribe. I also post a lot of makeup videos and some vlogs and stuff like that. I'll probably be doing a lot more vlogs now. But go ahead and subscribe, and please like this video, leave a comment if you want to, and hit that bell icon so you can see more content in the future. You can also follow me on my social media. My Instagram will be in the description, as will just my Instagram. Okay, well, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!